Good evening everybody, and thank you to JCI London for this award. It feels great to be here. I'll be sharing my story on the research of measuring hormones, substance levels such as cortisol from the EEG data. The most outstanding riddle today is understanding the mind or consciousness, and philosophers often refer to this problem as the mind-brain explanatory gap. I'd like to take the opportunity today to help explain how this research can narrow the mind-brain explanatory gap. So what is the EEG? Well, the EEG is an acronym for the electroencephalogram. It's a simple neuroimaging device that picks up electrical impulses from the scalp that can then be viewed on a digital screen. So the EEG data contains a goldmine of information, and the study can help demonstrate that. So here are the results from the study, and we're looking at the actual cortisol levels in blue against the predicted cortisol levels from the EEG in pink for each subject. And just to clarify that this study has been published in a patent application and is still very much in its infancy stage. The substance cortisol is a stress hormone, and it plays a pivotal role in narrowing the mind-brain explanatory gap that I'll come to later. So what is the benefits of measuring substance levels from the EEG data? Well, A, it's non-invasive, and B, it provides real-time measures. And this could be useful for many things, but for immediate use, it can be used for diagnosis that could help improve the patient's treatment pathway. There's also another direct benefit in that it can be used to improve our current research methods, to attain cruelty-free research methods. And of course, there's a huge commercial impact in that faster results mean faster turnover of any research that could then decrease the timeline of getting a product out to market. The other financial benefit is that this method of extracting substance levels is inherently cheaper than the current methods that are employed today. The findings of the study also shed light on the underlying neurofunctional architecture, and this has scientific implications, it has technological implications such as brain control technology, but most importantly for me, it has philosophical implications in understanding consciousness. The yearning to understand consciousness, although I didn't know it then, began at the age of 9, and I was going through the Reader's Digest Great Atlas, and I came across this picture of the universe and an arrow pointing to nothing labelled our solar system, and I absolutely freaked. It left me filled with questions as to who, what, why are we here, and what's the point? And it was this epiphany that would then take my life's journey of peace. And with an off-peace journey, it's often exploratory, exciting, and sometimes dangerous. I can say now it was part of the learning. So the pursuit of understanding the brain's electrical activity began in 2000 from a series of unusual experiences. But I can take from it something really solid and real that would then provide a framework in which I could explore these unanswered questions. And it was great to come across electrical activity of the brain, as it provided some kind of measure of some kind of mind. So once the structure to carry out these investigations was determined, the second challenge was to face the skepticism of the information contained in the EEG data, and understandably so, since it was new and unproven. So I did a BA in philosophy as a theoretical approach to the mind-brain relationship, and I followed it up with an MSc in applied cognitive neuroscience as a scientific approach to the mind-brain explanatory gap. So where am I with respect to my fearful relationship with the universe? Well, specifically relating back to the study and the hormone cortisol, we can actually measure stress in the EEG. In fact, we can physically see stress in the EEG. And so to be able to measure a positive and a negative mind state provides some empirical grounds that suggest that thoughts matter. For example, if I was to perceive stress, that would have a direct impact on my cortisol levels, and a domino effect on my biochemistry, my reactions, my actions, my interactions, and then my life, and perhaps even the universe. So that leads me to think, if something as invisible as thought or a state of mind can have such a large effect, what's there left to fear? And with that came a personal resolution. But then where are we with respect to the mind-brain explanatory gap? Well, since the EEG can capture the physiology of the psychological component as well as the normal regulatory functions, the next question to ask in this line of inquiry is, where is or are these psychological circuits in the brain that result in the changes in the EEG, or that we can even capture in the EEG? Ultimately, studying consciousness in terms of neuroscience is not just for humanity, it's for all species, and the study provides some empirical grounds as to stress the importance of our actions or our impacts on our planet and the rights of all other beings. I thank you for your attention and for listening, and thank you to JCI again for this award and all those that have nominated me, and to my family and friends who have been with me on this journey.